48 nations, 104 matches, and 16 cities across North America are ready to capture the world's attention. Stadiums are ready, squads have been announced, and everything seems to be moving exactly as planned. At first glance, there seems to be no problem at all. But as the World Cup draws closer, another story beyond football is growing bigger. A story that will never appear on the scoreboard. A story that won't be found in any player's statistics either, because football is no longer the only topic dominating the conversation. Governments, fans, travel experts, and host cities are all beginning to question a new reality, and the name of that reality is politics. The tournament meant to unite the world is now surrounded by new controversies, new questions, and uncomfortable discussions. The World Cup will happen. The stadiums will be full. The world will be watching. But the answers to the questions building behind the scenes remain unknown. The World Cup isn't stopping. Matches will begin on schedule. Stadiums will be packed, and billions will watch football's biggest stage. But the real question isn't about hosting the tournament. The real question is how people are viewing this World Cup. Because even before the first whistle, an unusual feeling has begun to spread across the football world. A feeling that the 2026 World Cup is somehow different from all the others. And one of the most talked about examples of that feeling is Iran. Normally, qualifying teams focus on preparation, but for Iran, the story was very different. Off the pitch, reality began changing fast, and football became entangled with visas, border controls, security concerns, and diplomacy. Suddenly, international realities became just as important as football itself. The situation became so unusual that even FIFA faced an unprecedented challenge. Eventually, a solution was found. But that solution was so unusual that it became one of the World Cup's biggest stories itself. And that's when one thing became clear. The 2026 World Cup is about more than football. Behind it lies a much larger reality. Imagine this: training in one country, playing matches in another, and recovering in one place, competing in another. Throughout the tournament, one team will repeatedly cross international borders. This is the extraordinary challenge facing Iran at the 2026 World Cup. Much of their preparation will take place in Mexico, while their matches will be played in the United States. Every match becomes more than a battle against opponents. It also means dealing with travel, security, and administrative challenges. Situations like this are almost unprecedented in World Cup history. Normally, teams focus on minimizing travel, reducing fatigue, and maintaining stable routines. But for Iran, the entire equation is different. They are not only fighting opponents on the pitch, but reality itself. The entire team must navigate multiple legal systems, administrative procedures, and sensitive political realities. And for FIFA, this situation was far from simple. Ensuring Iran's participation required months of diplomatic negotiations and complex coordination. Although a workable solution was found, the situation revealed a new reality to world football. There was a time when people believed the World Cup was a stage where politics stayed outside the door. But the 2026 World Cup shows that in the modern world, that line is no longer so clear. Football and global realities now stand on the same stage. And just as FIFA was trying to manage this challenge, another controversy was beginning to emerge elsewhere in the world. Thousands of miles away, questions began emerging across Europe. Questions FIFA rarely likes to hear. And from there begins another unexpected chapter of this story. At the center of this new chapter were a series of uncomfortable questions. Who gets to participate? How are the decisions made? And who will ultimately be held accountable? Slowly, these questions began spreading across the European football landscape. In the end, no major football federation chose to boycott the World Cup. Every qualified nation remained committed to participating in the tournament. But that is not where the real significance lies. What truly matters is that these questions were being asked at all. For decades, World Cup participation had been viewed as something almost unquestionable. A nation qualified and then it played in the World Cup. That was the accepted reality. But before the 2026 World Cup, cracks began appearing in that familiar picture. Petitions and public campaigns quickly began gaining support. Political figures soon entered the conversation as well. Football administrators found themselves answering questions that often had little to do with the game itself. Suddenly, discussions shifted toward ethics, accountability, decision-making, and transparency. Some officials even publicly mentioned the possibility of boycotts. Others called for formal reviews of FIFA's decisions. Whether those demands were realistic is a separate debate altogether. But more importantly, these discussions did not remain confined to small circles. Very quickly, they spread across media outlets, analysis shows, and everyday football conversations. Gradually, a new kind of public perception began forming around the World Cup. And for FIFA, that became the most important warning sign, because they were beginning to realize that this was no longer just about a football tournament. People were no longer thinking only about matches, goals, or trophies. They had begun questioning the entire system itself. And once public perception begins to change, it's impossible to predict how far the impact will reach. And that's exactly where an even greater challenge emerged for FIFA. A challenge far more complex than building stadiums or organizing tournaments. But the biggest question surrounding the 2026 World Cup is no longer about football on the pitch. It's about trust. The World Cup has always united billions through a shared passion. But this time, many fans are waiting for more than just the matches. They are also watching what happens beyond the field. Political controversies, host nation policies, security concerns, and international relations have all become part of the conversation. Adding to the debate is economic reality. The promises of massive tourism, business growth, and revenue are now being questioned. Many analysts are asking how many of those expectations will actually become reality, because reality rarely follows the script. Ticket prices, travel costs, and global economic uncertainty are influencing the decisions of many supporters. Meanwhile, public opinion is beginning to shift. The narrative FIFA once presented to the world is now being challenged. Social media, independent journalism, and the opinions of ordinary fans have become more influential than ever. Information is no longer controlled by a single institution. Every decision is now instantly analyzed and judged worldwide. As a result, the crisis is no longer just about football. It has become a battle between image and reality. The excitement around the game remains, but so do the questions. Is the World Cup still just a celebration of football, or has it become a stage where public opinion, economics, and global politics are also being tested? And that question leads us into the next chapter of the story. Despite all the controversies, criticism, and uncertainty, one thing has never changed: the magic of the World Cup. Because in the end, billions of people are not waiting for headlines off the field. They are waiting for the stories created on it. And that is why the 2026 World Cup could become one of the most fascinating tournaments in history. On one side, we may witness Lionel Messi on the World Cup stage for the very last time. Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe will look to establish his era, while Erling Haaland may step into football's biggest spotlight for the first time. Brazil will chase its lost glory once again. Spain will search for a new golden era, while Morocco will try to prove that its previous success was no accident. Perhaps this will be the World Cup where new legends are born and old legends write their final chapter, and billions of people will once again unite through the same passion and the same dream. But hidden within all of this is the biggest question of all. On one side stand politics, economics, ideologies, and an increasingly divided world. On the other side, a ball, a field, and the shared passion of billions. So what will the 2026 World Cup ultimately prove? Can football still unite people beyond language, culture, borders, and political divisions? Or has the world changed so much that its divisions have become bigger than the game itself? Perhaps we do not know the answer yet. And that is exactly why the 2026 World Cup is more than just a tournament. It is a unique test for the modern world. One whose result will be written on the grass, but whose echoes will be heard across the globe. And very soon we'll discover whether football is still the world's greatest language of unity, or if that story is beginning to change with time. That's why the 2026 World Cup is more than just another tournament. It could become one of the most important tests in modern football history. But the most beautiful thing about history is that no story ever truly ends. Just as new heroes rise on the football pitch, countless mysteries remain hidden across the world. Lost civilizations, incredible discoveries, unsolved mysteries, forgotten legends, and history's most unbelievable events are still waiting to be explored. Somewhere lie the stories of history's greatest wars, secret struggles for power, and the dark reality of true crime. Beyond our world await the wonders of space, the future of artificial intelligence, and the untold stories of tomorrow. So if you love not only football, but also the world's most incredible stories, don't miss our upcoming videos. Because on this channel, we don't just tell stories. We uncover the truth hidden behind history, the stories behind mysteries, and the moments that changed the world. That's all for today, but our next journey may take you to a lost empire, the unknown edges of space, or the depths of history's greatest mysteries. Until then, take care. And remember, behind every legend there is a story, and behind every story there is an even greater mystery. See you in the next video.